Hi, everyone. Welcome. Today I'm here with Kerri Mouch, who's at Sensory Healing for the Soul, and we're talking about releasing fear and truly aligning to love. Kerri Mouch is a holistic spiritual healer and mentor. She's a Reiki master teacher, sound healer, angel guide, crystal therapist, medium, and spiritual coach. And she's also a sound waves heal master practitioner, and she's also a really good friend. So excited to have you here, Kerri.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here.
I'm so happy to be here and truly talk about this subject, which is the truth about releasing fear and
Mm.
why we need to really align more to love and highlight some places where maybe we're not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome to 5D Channels and Chats with Rachel Chamness. As a shamanic channel and mentor, I'll be sharing wisdom and healing from higher dimensions through channeling beings of light. You will also hear liquid Reiki shamanic sound healing, channels between intuitives, and discussion on higher dimensional healing and channeling. You'll find links and more in the show notes, so be sure to check them. You can find me at soundwavesheal.com and my Facebook group, 5D Daily Spiritual Healers in Higher Dimensions.
I think sometimes we focus so much on releasing the fear that we're not thinking about the aligning to love. If we really just focus on the aligning to love, the fear takes care of itself.
And plus, what you are focusing on is what's coming to you. Whatever's in
Mm-hmm.
your field, whatever you're feeling, whatever your emotion is, then that per the law of attraction, that's what's
Mm-hmm.
being doubled in your life.
Absolutely.
Releasing fear is also creating fear. But
Exactly.
aligning to love,
Exactly. Where attention goes, energy flows. That whole thing.
right.
Yeah, we're magnetic manifesting beings. Absolutely.
I think we should
Absolutely.
take 10 minutes to say every way that we can say that. I bet there's like what
Okay.
resists persists.
What you resist persists. Correct. So if I'm releasing fear,
I'm
I'm
just
still
kidding.
creating the need to release it. But it is very true. If I'm focusing on releasing fear, then I'm in the state of needing to release it.
Right.
Is that if that's my focus, then I'm not actually releasing it. I'm creating the need to release it.
Right. It's like longing for something creates more longing and it's never here in the
Exactly.
present in the same
Exactly.
way that you're saying.
Exactly. And how do we change that? Because it's so easy. We're conditioned to focus on the negative and to prepare for the worst and all of those things. But how do we shift that? It's aligning to something positive, and that's how you manifest, right? You focus on very specifically what you want to create, and then it magnetically comes back to you. You can't think
Right.
about what may happen or the scary thing.
I think we're really conditioned to that, to always
Agreed.
finding ourselves in these mind rabbit holes where you're like, but what if this happens? And it's like an
Hmm.
anxiety producing thing that comes from the 3D collective. And it happens to me all the time. And I have to be like,
Yeah.
hold up, this is not going to happen. Like,
Right.
stop thinking about that. And of course,
Right.
Kerri and I are not talking about spiritual bypassing here. We're talking
No.
about looking at what's coming up and releasing it in whatever way you know how. And
Hmm.
there's plenty of ways to do that. And I even have a blog post on that. But, do your shadow work, but then do
Yeah.
it so that you can release it. And I hate it. It really hurts my heart when I hear people say, oh, it's just been a horrible couple of months. I've just been really doing my shadow work. It's like, no, shadow work shouldn't be like that.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to. It's sometimes it's hard though to take a really clear look at yourself and be honest. What did I create? Because all of the things that are the biggest struggles, we've all been through like a dark night, or a lot of us have been like through a dark night of the soul type
Many
situation
times.
in our lives, right? I know some of us more than others, where we feel it's the worst thing that ever happened to us when we're in it. But when you can get through it, you see how much you've learned from that. It's created an opportunity for you to become the person you are now. When we are in this dark night of the soul, what's really hard to see and admit, which is sometimes very painful, is that we created that
Yeah.
dark night of the soul. And I'm including myself in this when this initially
And
happened to me, but
April.
when you first realize, oh man, I created this situation, like I called it to me, I chose this. You can go one of two ways with that. You can either say, oh my gosh, I chose this, it's my fault, and spiral downward in this negative place of guilt and shame or whatever. Or you can say, wait a minute, I chose this. That means I can choose something else. If I
Right.
created this, I can create something better.
Or the opposite.
We're master manifestors. We don't just create negative things. We can create positive things just as powerfully. We just we don't want to believe it. It's
Or
easier to
we don't
believe.
believe it's possible. Or we let
Yeah.
all those little negative voices of
Yeah.
how we've been gaslighted our whole lives about spirituality get to us.
Right. Right. But it's not true. It's so not true. Once you can see that and get past that initial, oh my God, I did this, then you can say, wait a minute, I did this. I have power.
That's
Like
right.
that's your sovereignty. And once you realize your own sovereignty and what you're capable of, why is there anything to fear? Okay, so
There's not.
something happens. It doesn't matter because I'm fine and I will be fine because I can create anything that I want.
That's right. And whatever happens to you, you can reverse. Let's say you
Yeah.
did go into like a 3 week spiral and you didn't have good shadow work techniques like this one on the screen, that so you couldn't get out of it. You were just spiraling and spiraling, and then maybe you had a lot of entities or shadow, all that stuff. Then you just get a clearing and you just start over. You ask your angels to clear you, start over. It's not a big deal. There's nothing to fear about that. It's only learning.
Exactly, exactly. And I've had a lot of people that have come to me that have had an attachment or an energy. I mean, and I've experienced it myself too. And I always tell them when I've had that experience is because I was learning something. I
It's
was
always
learning
that.
how to stand in my sovereignty. And also this has happened, it just happened last week with a client too. There was an energy that she saw and she immediately was like, oh gosh, I want to walk to this side of the room, and I was avoiding it. I said, hold on a minute, let's go back. You still feel that energy? She said, yeah. I said, okay, look at it. And she's like, I don't want to look at it. I'm like, look at it and see what it is. Cause she's very clairvoyant. So I knew she could see it. And she did. And she's like, oh, it's like a man. And it ended up being this lonely part, a whole nother story, but it wasn't something out to get her. Yes, it was a low vibration, which was separate from her because her vibe was really high. So I think sometimes we sense energies and it's like, oh my gosh, that's really scary because it's so different. But that doesn't mean that lower energy is like gonna attack you or hurt you. Once you look it in the face and you say, why are you here? What do you want? It's
Yeah.
usually, I find that entities, energies like that, attachments, generally they're not trying to attack you. They just don't know any better, or they're scared, or they're confused. And when you
That's
actually
right.
look at them head on, they're like, oh, most of them. Yeah.
No,
Yeah. So and I don't think a lot of people know that.
people don't know that. And I didn't know that for a long time. I was like, so you're hurting my client, I'm clearing you out, and like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
I teach a totally different thing, which is ask it why it's here and
Right.
transmute with love, which you and I
Exactly.
discussed
Yeah.
at great length before. And the
Yeah.
thing is, before I was forcing them out. Sure.
Right.
Now look at them. Why are
Mhm.
you here? I'm here
Right.
because she truly doesn't love herself. Or
Mhm.
because of a mother wound is a huge one I get all the time.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
say thank you. And then I don't even need to cross them. They leave. They go be
Right.
transformed. I don't have to do anything.
Right. Exactly. Because
And the
they're
other
there for a lesson. Yeah.
They are. They're there
Yeah.
for your lesson. Why
Yeah.
would your spirit guides
Right.
let you get an entity? Because there's something for
Right.
you to learn. Everything that happens is because you're supposed to learn something. But it's not like the world's out to get you.
Yes. No, I definitely agree with that. Oh my gosh. And I think once you can really release that idea that the world is out to get me or that everything goes wrong, if you
Or
can
everything
really
happens
release that.
to me.
Yes, it's
Yes.
reactive, right? The situation happened and I'm reacting to it and I have no control over my life. A
That's
lot of
right.
people feel like they have no control. Things are just spiraling and they can't handle it. But if you can actually step back and get a higher perspective, and I think the secret is seeing the divine within yourself. It's
Yes.
not just about seeing the perspective of the situation you're in. It's about seeing the perspective of yourself. So many people that I talk to, I work with, they don't understand how magnificent they are. Like
Right.
every single one of us is a being of light. We're masters at our higher self, right? We just don't remember it. And so when I tell them this, I'm like, this is what I see when I look at your soul. This is the light in you that I see. They're like, oh, no, 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 no. I'm like, oh, yes, 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 yes.
Yes. Yes,
Yes.
we are all part of the one. We are God. God
Yeah,
is us.
exactly.
Everyone is God. And you know what? I also want to say, just real quick about entities, sometimes they're just
Mhm,
your own thought forms too. A lot
mhm.
of times they're your thoughts. And back to what you said before, that we have to face that we most likely cause this. Most people cause their own entities. They're actually their
Yeah.
thought forms that need to be looked at and released.
Well, and you allow them in when they come. You drop your vibration to a certain point and you
Yeah.
open that door. If you can truly align to divine love, they cannot reach you because your vibration's too high. You're up here and they can't find you. So, it's not to say like I work constantly at raising my vibration, but we all have times where we dip, we have a low moment or whatever. And when that happens, I feel the shift. It's like, oh, hold on a minute. Let me get back in alignment with where I want to be. But if we're constantly doing this all the time, are really high and really low, I think that's the people that probably get a little bit stuck, because you get to tap into the love and the divineness, but you can't hold it. And so it plummets. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I know what I'm missing. Some people that are in the low vibration just all the time, they don't really know what they're missing. They don't have the perspective. But people who get it and then drop down, it's like, oh, I think that's harder to get out of. How do I stay high and not have the roller coaster?
Well, it is a hard thing. The answer is always that you need to be working on yourself. I mean, we all have to work on ourselves, and being a light worker doesn't say, oh yeah, I'm past all that. Perfect now. It just means that you're going to have just as much density, if not more, but you know how to react, or you know how to catch yourself reacting and switch to like, okay, this is happening for me. What is the reason? What am I supposed to learn so I can get through it faster? That sort of thing. That's what we do.
I agree. And even something I'm going through now is that it's very aligned to manifestation, if you think about it. Because right? I know we're not talking, right? I know we're not talking specifically about manifestation, but it comes back to that, because it comes down to, what do we want to create? What world do we want to live in? And I can say that about anything. It can be about my physical health. Am I going to say, oh gosh, my knee hurts before it hurts, and anticipate that I'm going to limp and I'm going to wince? That's creating my knee hurting. Or I can say, I'm fine and I'm healthy. And I keep saying it again and again and again until it's true. But it's the same thing with fear and love. Am I going to live in this fear that something's going to happen and I got to be prepared, or I'm in danger, so I need to protect myself? Am I going to continue to put those thoughts in my head? Or am I going to say, you know what? I'm divinely protected.
That's right.
I have the light of God within me. And we all do. Me, Kerri, is not special saying that. This is true for all of us. But if we can really align to the fact that my guides are with me, God is with me, source is within my heart. If we can align to that and say that again and again and again, make that your story in your mind, then that's what you create. That's how you keep yourself in that higher. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is what I wanted to talk about, the prepping. Okay, there are things happening this year. I totally get there's something happening in November. Yeah. I don't know if you're getting that too, but
even before November.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening. I've been shown all kinds of things. Gaia showed me some crazy stuff. And here's the deal. Fine, things are happening. But be careful where you're getting addicted to someone else giving you news on what's going to happen, because it does not matter. Be sovereign in yourself. Understand that the only thing that's going to happen is that you need to work on yourself, connect to your guides and helpers, stay in alignment with love, and that doing things like getting obsessed with what other messages are coming your way about what's going to happen puts you on a lower timeline, puts you on the 3D timeline. And prepping, so crazy, because I talked to someone yesterday who was telling me that they were spending all their money right now prepping for when things go sideways in November. And I was like, oh. And I thought, I need to tell her that's not a thing that she needs to worry about. But then Spirit said, but it might be for her. So then I was like, okay, well, I don't want to say the wrong thing. So I asked Spirit, I said, okay, for the 150,000th time, do I need to prep for anything? No. Does, my friend Gia need to prep for anything? No. Does anyone in tag team need to prep for anything? No. And then I was like, okay, does this person need to prep for anything? And he said, yes. Spirit said, because she is prepping, she will experience the need for what she's prepping for.
She's choosing that reality. So if we choose that, if we spend all of our energy prepping, why do people prep? It's fear. It's fear that something bad's going to happen, and then it will be really, really bad. So me personally, I don't have fear that something bad will happen to me anymore. Now, I used to before.
Yeah, I used to, of course. We have worked on it. Yeah.
Yes, I've worked on this a lot, but truly what shifted it was when I finally connected to my divine higher self. And I was like, wait a minute, I chose to be here. I chose to have this experience. There is purpose in my life. And it's not for all this crazy stuff that I was making up to happen that could hurt me or my family or something. No, we came here, all of us, for this shift. Right? For to change the world, to raise the vibration. Now, what we're all doing, we each have a different path, right? Some people, yes, they chose, well, I'm going to walk this path with the prepping stuff so I can help somebody else see. Like, it's not, I don't look at people that, oh gosh, they're doing that. Shame on them. Like, I
No,
don't
of
look
course
down on
not.
people. That's just where people are. We all play a part. There's no like, well, I'm better than you. You're better than me. No, we're all equal. We're just different vibrations to complete the whole picture. Some people chose to come in on a lower vibration to help other people see the difference.
Let's
You know?
talk about that. That's the main thing
Oh,
we wanted to talk about.
oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
More about
Mhm.
staying in love.
Mhm.
Now, sometimes we get to this point where we're like, okay, I get it. There's a lot of duality. I'm choosing not to choose its side, but to understand, like you're saying, some people come to be in the third density and they come here to experience all of that. They're so excited. Their higher selves are like, ooh, let's experience all the wars and all the horrible things. I'm going to learn so much from my next life. And the
Yeah.
rest of us said, let's come here and raise the vibration and go to the fifth dimension. That's what we all chose. And like you said, there's no judgment and there's no
Yeah.
worry of losing people. This life is so little, and our higher
Right.
selves and our true souls are together all the time,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
you're not
Mhm.
losing anyone. But the other part is this, then there's this like, well, fourth dimensional creatures are taking over the world and they are controlling the government and they're going to do all these
Yeah.
things to us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but also they're fourth density, they're fourth dimension, so they're not going to fifth dimension. And whatever you are feeling and experiencing is happening in your life, so you don't really need to worry about that.
But think about it this way. Okay, yes, there are nefarious energies or manipulative energies doing different things. Okay, look at 2020. That's a major example. That was
I
a
was going to say
massive,
that.
yeah, that was a massive manipulation, right? So, do you want to be on the side of, all right, I'm looking at the people that started that created that put it out there and were seeding fear. Do you want to blame and say how wrong it was and how awful the experience was? Or what I think is true, this was all decided beforehand. Like, you know what? We need something really big to shift the vibration. How many
Yeah.
people woke up in 2020?
So
How
many.
many light workers connected together and just, it's been an explosion of positive
Amazing.
energy. Yeah. How many people stopped watching the news that year? Right. I'm one of them. I've
Oh,
not watched
yeah.
the news since 2020, but you could really start to see the show. You could see the scripting. You could
Yes. And
see
then
the
people were
story.
taking like the news from every different broadcast there is, every side, and putting them side by side so that you could see they were saying the exact same words
Right.
of programming, because that's what it is. It's
Right.
programming.
Right. Right. And in order for us to get there, we needed
We
something
needed
big
that.
to happen to help us see it. And so are those people bad that created that? No, they played a part. And it was,
Everyone is playing their part in
yeah,
this simulation.
yeah. Yeah, so they chose that and we agreed to it. Even look at World War II, a horrible thing that happened. But do you know how many inventions came out of World War II? The fact that it happened, we haven't had another world war because people saw how bad it could get. Like, as atrocious as it was, it created a lot of good in the
Yeah.
aftermath.
And
So it's the same kind of thing.
also, let's talk about 2020 for a minute. So, most people were home. They got the break that they needed.
Yeah.
They were able to go within and learn a lot. For me,
Mhm.
I was already doing this work and I had a whole other entrepreneurship job where I was
Mhm.
teaching voice. I had a full voice studio and I really loved it, but I really wanted to leave and do this job full time. And I didn't
Yeah.
know how to do it. And I figured I would just do it when I moved. And what
Mhm.
happened was I was able to do it then. So it really
Yeah.
released me from that because
Yeah.
I don't like doing voice lessons online. So that just totally
Yeah.
released me. I sold it and I went to this full time. But I was still busy. I was very busy because people needed help. And my husband was very busy because he works at Whole Foods. So he was very, very
Mhm.
busy. So it was a struggle with a small child. But, we never went into that kind of like fear of not having things. Now, we did at first have
Mhm.
some fear about what's happening till we figured it
Right.
out. We
Right.
are human. And then
Yeah.
we never ran out of anything. We didn't
Mhm.
stock up
Yeah.
on toilet paper, but then we didn't run out. Like we
Yeah.
didn't worry about stuff and then like things just
Yeah.
worked out over and
Yeah.
over and over again because we
Yeah.
didn't worry about it. And that I think is a really good example of how this works.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think 2020 is just such a great example because we've all lived through it. This is real for us. We experienced it firsthand. And I don't think anyone could have gone through that year without experiencing some kind of shift in their energy, no matter what it was. it was a life-changing experience, something you're never going to forget, right? And it was just, and it went on for so long, and there were so many different things and ups and downs and all of that. And so again, and this is my experience, I followed all the charts every day. I used to look at that every morning when I woke up and, oh gosh, it's spreading. But then it's like I had to make the choice, like, wait a minute, I'm fine. My family's fine. Like, I could either take this for the opportunity that it is. Let's spend some more time outside. Let's have more family game nights, meditate more. I spent so much time during the shutdown meditating, doing yoga, taking online classes to learn all sorts of spiritual things. It was wonderful. I'm so grateful because you know what? I would not have had time to do that had my schedule been what it was. I would have never taken the classes I took or just taken that time for me. Because who's going to say, you know what, full stop, I'm going to take time for myself and not do anything for 3 months. We're not going to do that. I can't even do that now, even after having that experience. But it was really important. It was really important. So I just think it's the best way for us to stay aligned to truth is to find our own truth, not get it from an outside source. It's really great if you can connect to your guides and you can ask them questions and they can help teach you and let you see clearly what is best for you, like what aligns to you. But even if you can't, if you can have a sense, this makes me feel love. If you're ever in a situation around people that it's like, okay, do I feel love right now? Do I feel joy? Do I feel bliss? Or do I feel fear and uncomfortable and tension? Like which feeling do you have? That lets you know if it's in alignment with you or not, right?
If you can just stop and
Yeah.
feel for a minute. Everyone has clairs and everyone can open them further and everyone can just stop and say, I need a sign. Or which am I feeling? Does this feel right or does this feel not right?
Exactly.
Is it in alignment or is it not in alignment?
Yeah. And sometimes just asking the question is what you need to do. Because even though my psychic skills are very open, sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, is this like I have to ask to clarify, is this what I'm thinking it is or is it not? Because sometimes you can get a little confused or you're just not focused or whatever. So it's important to stop, take that minute and just sense and really feel into it. Because if it's not in alignment with you, I feel like you're going to know or sense it in some kind of way.
And it's not going to flow.
Exactly. Because you know when it is in alignment, it's like, it's easy. Yes. And you're just glowing and right. If only we could align to that all the time. Oh, wait a minute. We can.
We can.
We can.
So we wanted to talk about this sort of idea of really hating on the fourth dimensional beings or the man or whatever, which is, look, I am a Gen X through and through. I'm so like anti the man, but also I have to watch myself on that because like you said, everyone is playing their part. That is what we're all here to do. And even that politician you can't stand is just playing a part. And it's just showing you that it's all a farce.
Yeah.
It's all a farce. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
Yes, agreed. Agreed.
And it's even a farce that, like, if you don't participate, then you're just giving up your sovereignty because you don't participate in the farce. Like, it's the farce either way.
Actually, I think I'm gaining my sovereignty by not participating.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Politics is a sticky one, without a doubt. Without a doubt. No matter what side you're on, it's a sticky one. And I don't know if it's because there's so much attention to that arena. So maybe that's where it has to happen. Maybe that's where the chaos has to be in order for us to grow, for us all to grow.
I'm still chaos around that.
Yeah, me too. But I still choose to look at it as a positive thing. How is this an opportunity for growth? Instead of looking at, oh gosh, it's going to create so much fear and problem and destruction. What about how can we grow from this? How can we get better? Because things aren't great right now. It's crazy up there. So how can we make it better? How is that actually going to happen? Well, and sometimes it takes a big thing to make that happen, to get better.
And also, how is this taking away from my sovereignty? Am I thinking that this politician is going to save me or the world? Or am I realizing that I'm the only one who can save myself?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's no one's coming in to like put you on the spaceship and like fix it all for you. I mean, I know I totally thought that in 2019, but that's not what's happening.
Yeah, I know. Shucks. That would have been nice.
Yourself. And the more you work on yourself, and the more you believe in yourself, the more you love yourself, the more these guides come forward to help.
Oh, yes. And we are so supported by so many guides. I think that we don't even understand the volume of help that we have. All we have to do is say, help me, please. Thank you for showing me
Thank
the
you.
highest path. Yeah, the gratitude is
Mhm.
such a high vibration, but all we have to do is set the intention. And so many of us forget that it's just a choice. We just say, "Thank you for helping me. Thank you for showing me this. Thank you for bringing
That's
this
right.
forward for me." It sounds really simple, but that's really the truth of it is
It
the
is the truth.
intention, right?
Yeah. And I weep every time I see someone say, "Well, everyone has one spirit guide." Or people are like, "I don't know if I have spirit guides." Or people put a
Mm,
limit on it like people have like 1 to 2, sometimes 3 spirit
no.
guides. I'm like, "Oh my no."
It's limitless.
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 I once checked the other day because I was reading this great book, but it's a little bit older. I think it's
Mhm.
pre 2012, but it's still an amazing book. But I was reading it and she said, everyone has 4 or 5 spirit guides. And I was like, all right, wait a minute. And I was like, do I have more than 100 spirit guides? And I got, yep.
Yeah.
It's,
Oh, yeah.
it's ironically, it's a book about pendulums. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go.
And,
Well, maybe that's all she could perceive at that moment.
I
But
think that's a pre 2012 thought, and possibly that is what it was back then.
well, and you know that you're right. That's a good point. We
Mm-hmm.
might not have been high enough vibrationally to be open to the idea that so many beings of light are connecting to us and surrounding us. Because even still, some people are very afraid when you start talking about galactical beings or even angels and stuff. Like it's just like overwhelming. And they're like, wait a minute, you talk to angels? And it's like, yeah, that's
Anybody
not scary,
can.
but it is
Yeah.
it is scary to some people still. So I think now there's way I was just talking about this morning. Now there are way more people that are open and more have more psychic abilities and
Yes.
can communicate with their guides. So guess what? More and more are appearing, but they've
Yes.
always been there.
They've
You know?
all been there, but
Yeah.
they are now saying that more can come in. When I was talking to
Oh, that's
Alpine,
yeah.
who's my
Yeah.
galactic partner guide, he's saying that the gates have opened. Like as opening up,
Yeah.
there's more that are allowed to come in and help
Agreed.
us.
That.
And so I
Absolutely.
think with the book, it's not that she's wrong. I think things have
Yeah.
changed. Yeah.
Agreed, agreed. And it's funny, there are so many books that you read and it's like, well, that's not true. Well, it was true then, but it's
Yeah.
changed. So many even things have shifted so much in the past 4 years. It's like things that I've written in a manual for a course that I teach. I'm like, ooh, I need to change that.
But
Constantly evolving energies. Yeah, it's exciting to me because that just means it's opportunities for growth. And
it
I want to
is.
grow in the higher direction. That's what I
Me too.
choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I like to show people that I don't have all the answers. I'm not a guru. Like, I'm just telling you what I'm getting, and I'm
Yeah.
getting something new now because we're on
Yeah.
a higher timeline. And that's
Yeah.
okay. That doesn't mean I was wrong.
Right.
Actually, all the things they told me were going to happen in December 2019 did happen. It's just that
Hmm.
we didn't see
Hmm.
it till March 2020, and I didn't
Right.
know what they were talking
Yeah.
about.
Context.
I thought they meant like ships coming from the sky, like they were gonna just walk on up
Right.
to us and we're gonna be like, "Hey, we've seen
Right.
this," but really it was like, "Hey, guess what? Wake the hell up!"
Right. Right. Oh, it's very true because we get messages, but we also interpret them. And sometimes the way that it's visualized by us is not actually the way it's coming. We just get the feeling or the vibration of the message, like a shift
Yes.
is coming,
Well, it's
but
and also it's what you can wrap your head around. So
true,
I get these messages a lot where they're
true.
like, "Yes, you could say that." Like,
Yeah.
"Is this true?" And they're like, "It is a truth that you understand that will open up to the real
Yeah.
truth when you can perceive it." And this is a
Right.
lot of what I get about the nature of the world, the nature of our planet, of what
Mm-hmm.
it's really like, what galaxy is really like, and
Right.
what we know about science doesn't match. Why doesn't it match? I don't
Right.
think that many people are lying, or they could be. I don't know. People lie about all kinds of
Right.
things to us earthlings, but and they're like, there's so much that you cannot understand or perceive.
Mm,
We give it to you in pieces until you can. And so
yeah.
sometimes we get an idea and then we're like, okay, this is it. I've gotten it 10 times. This is it. But it's not
Yeah.
really. It's
No.
like it's gonna be it.
It's gonna or it's gonna shift and it's gonna have another angle. It's all
Right.
there's so many perspectives and they only show us a couple at a time. And then all of a sudden we get more and we're like, whoa, that little perspective I had at the beginning was not correct. And to me, that goes back to the love versus fear thing. We all are coming, I feel like, from a place of fear. And fear is one tiny little perspective. But if
Yeah.
we can look at all the other perspectives, fear is really not a big one unless we allow it to be. There's way
Also,
more vibrations that allow us to see the light, to see the love in things than the fear in
yeah.
things.
And also, I think that it's really important to allow yourself to be wrong. I think
Mhm.
that the biggest problem that I see in my channeling classes is that my students are so afraid to be wrong
Right.
that they discard information that they're getting and have a hard
Mhm.
time proving to
Mhm.
themselves that they're getting messages. But it's
Yeah.
okay to be wrong. It's fine. It's no big deal. Being wrong is how we
Well,
learn.
exactly, and sometimes, I'm sure this has happened to you too, is I'll get a message, and that message, while that may not have been accurate information, it was what was needed to be said at the time to
Yes.
create a certain result.
And your spirit guides will totally do that to you. It's so
Oh,
aggravating. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
we told you this so XYZ would happen. We
Yes, thank
always
you.
knew that it was a different scenario, and I'm like, "Could you have just told me that from the beginning?" "No, no, we needed you to learn it. We
Right.
needed you
That
to
is
learn it."
the
I mean,
freaking worst. I hate that so much. That's happened to me several times.
yeah, yeah, but then again, it just goes back to trust, because even when we're told something and it turns out to not be true, are we gonna let that devastate us and be like, "Oh, I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. I'm not good at connecting spiritually. Am I gonna take that path?" Or am I gonna be like, "Oh, well, that was a learning opportunity. Let me see what I learned from that situation." And just that shift in perspective raises your vibration.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
often just a shift in perspective, isn't it?
Mhm, mhm. Sometimes there are beings that we perceive as negative in our life, or people that we perceive as very negative and hurtful and hateful in our lives. And actually, that's not the case. It could be, think of the person in your life that has the biggest tension, the biggest problem, maybe the person that's hurt you the most. And you think, "Oh, well, that's an evil person, right? They're just
Right.
an evil person. That's why they make bad choices. That's why they hurt me." But in actuality, you and that person, before you came into this life, agreed on a soul contract and said, "Hey, I want to experience this. I want to learn this lesson. Can you help me?" So actually, that person that you think is so evil is a trusted soul that you
It's,
trusted to
yeah.
play this role
It's someone
so
you
you could
love
learn
on the
this
other side.
lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, on
It's
the
so
other
crazy.
side, it's so different. And when you can start to see this in your own life, and I have met the energy behind some people in my life that have done me wrong, whatever. And it wasn't until I could see that perspective, like, oh, wait a minute, at the soul level, this person has been teaching me in every incarnation that I remember with this soul. They're always the lesson teacher, the hard lesson teacher. And it wasn't until I could see that perspective, then yes, I could come to a place of forgiveness. Not only
Right.
forgiveness, but gratitude.
I
When I
know.
could
That's
finally
very
say,
strange, isn't it?
yeah, when I could finally say, "You know what? Thank you for teaching me that lesson. Thank you for playing that part, because that couldn't have been easy to do all of those things to me.
Hmm.
But thank you for helping me learn that. And now I can see it." And when you can see that soul, that light inside the other being that you used to think was just so bad, that's when the shift really happens. None of us are good or bad. We're all just learning the lessons, and we've chosen how those are going to play out in our lives.
Yeah. Even the worst psychopath on this plane of existence that we call earthly living is just
Mhm.
playing a role to learn something. What would it be like if I didn't know the difference between good and bad? Well,
Right.
what would that be like? What if I didn't understand about other people? Why would that soul choose to incarnate? Maybe they feel that they are too empathic, or they bleed
Mhm.
too much for other people. Maybe they want to come and
Mhm.
see what it's like to be the person that hurts people so that they can have more truth and understanding for that kind of life, at least in the 3D world.
Right, absolutely. There's so many, we can't possibly know all the reasons that people choose to learn the lessons that they choose. And I do think sometimes there are cases where people kind of fall off the path and spiral down, just the world gets them distracted, let's say. That does happen. Sometimes we do things that maybe we didn't actually plan on when we were deciding to come in here. But I think generally a lot of people chose the path that they're on clearly with intention to learn something, and which to me, no lessons are good or bad, they're just lessons. But it's so important that we can see this so we stop blaming other people or blaming ourselves. Blaming the self is a really big one too. We have to learn to forgive ourselves and thank ourselves for creating an opportunity for growth as well. It's not just about doing that with another soul, it's about doing it for yourself.
We always blame ourselves. And I always think this is about somehow understanding deep down that we put ourselves in this path to experience it, and that
Yeah.
somehow kind of does get through our earthly amnesia, and then we feel like it's
Mhm.
our fault. And plus, we're also told things like that. Oh, well, if you didn't wear that skirt, then
Right.
maybe he
Right.
wouldn't have
Right.
raped you. Like, what is that? We blame ourselves, and when we can forgive ourselves, for the longest time, I had a really hard time with forgiveness, and I was only able to forgive myself. But then understanding about how we are all one, like you were talking about, and how these people who hurt me very badly are, yes, someone I love on the other side. It's almost impossible for me to see that from this place, but I understand that it's true. And then once you do that, you can see that hurt people hurt people. And then
Mm,
from that perspective, it
yeah.
gets easier as you
Yeah.
understand these things. And then maybe I don't ever want to talk to those people again, but I can forgive
Yeah.
them or forgive
Right.
their higher self,
That
hurting
doesn't mean you
people.
have to be best friends in this life.
Yes.
Well, right. Yeah. No, that's not what I meant at all. It's not like, okay, we're great now,
No.
but you can just let it go and not hold fear or resentment or really anything. For me, the real shift happened when I realized I could feel gratitude. And it wasn't
Yeah.
until I could feel gratitude that I realized, now I have forgiven. I thought
Yeah.
I had forgiven before, but I hadn't. But if you can truly say thank you to the higher self of someone who wronged you, then you've really let it go. Then it's no longer something for you to overcome.
And the thing is, until you let it go, it's only hurting you. It doesn't hurt them at
Exactly.
all.
Exactly. This had no effect on the other person,
Right.
right? I don't know.
You're
I
just
haven't seen
torturing
this other
yourself.
person in years. It's my journey within myself. But isn't that what all of this is? It's all a
Yeah.
journey within yourself. And here's the thing, if I'm holding that resentment or whatever lower energy for this other person that I feel is evil incarnate or whatever, I'm creating that within myself. I'm allowing that energy within myself. So if I can see the love in them or the light, maybe I can't go to love, but maybe it's conceptualize that this is a being of light on another plane of existence. It just put that up there. If I can conceptualize it, then I can see that that light is in me too. We all have it within us. It's really challenging to get yourself to that place. And I think some of us come to it easier than others, but a lot of people struggle. They can see the light in other people, but they don't turn it back and say, "Oh, I am divine as well." It's like,
Yes.
yes, you are divine as well. That is correct. We are all
We're so
divine
hard on
beings.
ourselves, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, and that's probably what leads us to I can't do it. I'm not good enough. I better prepare for the worst because we
Things always
knew,
happen to me. That
right.
kind of
But
line of thinking. Yeah.
exactly. But if we knew how divine we are and how powerful we are and full of love, then it'd be like, doesn't matter what happens in this outside world. I will be taken care of because I can create a reality that I want to live in. I am protected because I choose to be, because I choose not to let that hurt me. If we can see that within ourselves, then there's nothing to fear.
I want to bring up this one idea that a lot of people are talking about. And in fact, I can't even remember what they're calling it, but it's the idea that here we are in this matrix, and there's a lot of people around us who have no souls, that they're just like empty humans that are just reflected, or they're not real. Like they
Like a
don't have a higher
hologram.
self or a soul. It's like they are just part of your matrix, copies of people, and they have no purpose. They're purposeless and they're not real in that
Hmm.
sense.
In
But
that sense,
I don't really think that's true. I think
that does
everyone
not,
has a soul
yeah.
and is here for a reason, because I've been told countless times that there were only so many souls that could come to Earth during this time. And we
Yeah.
have really won the lottery to be able to be here. And there's so many souls that wanted to come here during
Yeah.
mission that
Yeah.
they took other paths. They took the 3D path. They took animals.
Right.
Animals are full of galactic
Mhm.
beings who wish
Yeah.
they had gotten on the boat to be a human.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you. That doesn't resonate with me at all. I don't feel that. And I don't know why someone would think that unless if they perceive that maybe they are not connecting to their soul within themselves. And
I
so
feel
that's
it's
what
a
they
way to
see outside.
distance yourself from
Yeah.
people a lot. And I
Yeah.
feel that that action brings you more into duality instead of out of it.
Agreed. Agreed. You're seeing a reflection of yourself. So if that's what you see and perceive around you, then you are disconnected from your true self. I don't know. If you can connect to divine love, it's so overwhelmingly incredible that it's kind of hard to see something like that afterwards. I think we see things like that from a place of fear. Is it a fear-based thing or is it a confusion, or what benefit would there be if that was actually true?
I don't know. It's part of the 4D matrix that I hear, where people get stuck in this duality and get stuck in the fear.
So
I
someone
don't
else is
know.
controlling basically. If I'm in the 4D and there's all these nefarious energies that are doing things
Right.
to
Like
me.
you better prep. you better
Yeah.
watch yourself and make sure that you're deeply, deeply clear all the time, or some horrible thing could
Right.
happen. And that sort of thing creates so many entities and portals and things in your home. Of course, you're going to need lots of clearing. That kind of fear creates followers because people are desperate. It makes them desperate.
Sure.
It takes them out
Sure.
of their own sovereignty. And I think that
Agreed.
imagining that a lot of people that you see in the world are not real helps you disconnect, but then that disconnects
Exactly.
yourself. And so I think
Exactly.
that's false matrix.
I no, that I absolutely agree with that. If you're doing that, then you're giving away your power
You
and you're
are
saying someone else is in control and creating this reality that I'm just walking through. That's
control
not,
my reality.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no one else is controlling your reality but you.
And so many people want, like, they want a session to heal or help someone else. And that's totally
Mhm.
understandable. I do
Mhm.
sessions for
Mhm.
my child who's under 18. So of course, that's okay. But mainly, what you need to do is clear the energies in your field that your spouse, child, best friend, neighbor are what they are reacting to.
Yes.
And this is
Yes.
the same sort of thing. Like, if you're finding that you are surrounded by people who seem totally disconnected and part of the matrix, which can be just like this as a misunderstanding, then it's reflecting back to your disconnectedness, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely. And you bring up a really good point. When you work on yourself and raise your own vibration, then your light affects your environment. It affects the people around you. And the reverse is true as well. If you spiral downward, your lack of light will also have the same effect. That's why I tell people it's actually not selfish to take time for you. The best
Oh,
way that we can help everybody is to be aligned with love within ourselves at all time. Whatever we need to do to first bring yourself into alignment, then help someone else. You can't help somebody else if you're not coming from a place of love. If you're in a place of fear or discomfort or whatever, it's harder. It's harder to help someone else. And I'm not saying that you have to be perfect because God knows I'm not. I'm still
we are
learning a
not
lot of
perfect.
things,
No,
but
yeah.
I'm constantly challenging myself to grow, constantly challenging myself to raise my vibration. And how can I do that? What can I work on? But I see more and more people that kind of get trapped because they don't understand that the whole idea that there is something out there controlling my environment and placing things in front of me that don't have a soul. That implies that someone's controlling that, and that someone's not me. So the control is outside of myself. So I've lost my sovereignty. I'm not aligning to love, like all of that, because I
Well,
have
just
no control.
imagine if you're walking through life trying to figure out who's real and who's not. You're like placing yourself inside a matrix because that's what
Yeah.
you're looking for. Whatever you're looking
Yeah.
for is what you're going to get. That's why I often say, ask the
Yeah.
universe a question. Hey, how are you going to show me how much I'm loved today? Hey, how are you going to
Yeah.
show me how much I'm manifesting today?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to find out how you're going to show me.
Right, right. Well, and exactly. I love that. It's like turn it the other way. Okay, if somebody's putting these false bodies in front of me, then that means I can control it too. And I can create something really awesome. What if it is a matrix? And what if I'm saying, hey, I want to create a golden future? I can do that too. So it's shifting the narrative and I think basically coming back to we are in control of it. We are.
Mm-hmm.
We're powerful. We're very powerful.
Yes, we really are. Another thing I see related to this is where people get so hooked on, I have this problem, I have this block. I can't do it
Mm-hmm.
because I have this block. Well, now
Mm-hmm.
that you've said that, you have a block.
Agreed.
But
Agreed.
I can clear that for you. But if you just say, I used to have this block and now I'm seeing how I don't, well,
Yeah.
guess what? Now you're empowered. You don't need me to
It
clear it.
right. No, absolutely. Absolutely. It's like, yeah, I tell people I can clear that for you, but it's going to come back
If you
unless you
keep
clear
saying
it.
it.
Yeah, if you have to clear it for yourself to make it stay gone.
Talk about
Maybe
that.
okay. Well, and I do believe this, okay? Some people need to come to an energy healer to have a clearing in order to get the vibration kind of at homeostasis, in order to get
Yes.
back to optimal functioning, then they can do the work themselves.
Of course. I'm big
Yeah.
on sessions. I don't just give them, I get a lot of sessions. I
Oh,
love them.
absolutely.
Having an
Absolutely.
outside source say, hey, you're doing it again. I
Right.
am.
No, absolutely. Someone to keep us accountable. Absolutely. It's perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's hard to hear. I don't want to hear that I did that again. I thought I was doing better. Don't tell me that.
Yeah.
But if we can learn to let go of the judgments, we're judging
Mhm.
ourselves. Oh, I messed up again. Like if we can just let go of the judgment, be like, oh, you're right. I did do that again. Let me see if I can make that better. Let me try another tactic. Let me make another choice. We're judging ourselves because we don't want to be wrong. We don't want to mess up. It's a challenge, but I really do firmly believe, because I get this from people a lot, is that, well, why didn't that heal it? Why didn't that session heal it? I'm like, oh, well, we in the session, you can get to that balanced state, but it's not going to stay unless we change our thoughts, unless we change our feelings, our emotion. We're so powerful. You created the situation to have your body in whatever disarray that it was in that caused you to come in to have a healing session. Now I'm helping you pedal that backward. But if you want to stay there, you have to do something too. Like no one else can fix it
That's
completely
right.
for you. And
And
that, again, back to sovereignty.
yeah,
Yeah.
plus, okay, so when I'm working on someone, I feel they're working too. It's a higher self. And that's why
Mhm,
my healing sessions, I give a lot of messages, give homework from your
mhm,
spirit guides,
mhm,
and I'm talking
mhm,
a lot.
mhm.
You know, even though it's a healing session, I'm talking an awful lot because you need to know all
Right,
these things, or perhaps they're
right.
messages and other things. You need to know what I cleared. And then you have to go forward in that space. But also, if it took you 30 years to get here and you haven't had a clearing or healing session ever, or in the past 6 months,
Yeah.
like I don't know that I can clear it in your mini session.
Right.
Need more than one 45-minute full
Sure.
session.
No,
I'm gonna
absolutely.
try, and we're gonna
No,
get so far. But
right. And I think the more that we do that, it's kind of like a practice. If I choose to go have healing sessions, or if I choose to do meditations, or maybe it's yoga or chanting or whatever it is that
sound
helps you
baths.
raise your own vibration, if you can repeat that every time you do it, you're raising your vibration, you're shifting, you're aligning more to divine love. So some people, yes, they need to come for a session, and that's very helpful. I think I kind of look at it as when I first started communicating with my spirit guides. They were really hands-on. They did a lot of stuff for me. They told me things, and I asked them to do stuff like, you do that healing or you protect me. But at a certain point, they stepped back, and I was like, wait, you're not going to come do the, and they're like, no, you do it. Like, you need to do this. I'm not doing it for you. I'm here to support you, but you have to do. And I was like, wait, why? Like, I stand here and you do it. And they're like, no, you do it. And I'm like, well, I don't know how. I'm like, yes, you do. And it's the same thing as me helping somebody else in or me helping myself. And it just goes back to realizing who we truly are. If we could just see who we truly are, then there is nothing to fear when you can see your own soul. You know what I mean? It's so incredible if you can actually tap into the magnificence of yourself, that you realize there is nothing to fear. There's a lot
Right,
of chaos around me, but I don't have to be afraid of it because I'm anchored into myself.
right. That's the biggest lesson, isn't it?
I do. I think it all comes back to that. I really do. I really do.
Yeah, and it's a good reminder. It's not like I'm always as into this as I am at this moment. This morning, I actually had a morning where like everybody was fighting when I got up. I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, come on, it's time to go. We have to be at school on time. And then I went to drop them off. And then on the way back,
Right.
there's a big intersection. I pull into the other side. It's not possible to go all the way across the road. At the
Mm-hmm.
same time, someone else pulled in to come into this side. I just didn't
Mm-hmm.
see her. We were coming
Yeah.
from other places, and she spent a lot of time cussing me out and yelling at me with her hands. And I was
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah.
didn't see you. And I was like, what is
Right.
happening out here? I think this is all showing me that I'm not in alignment. And so I got into an
Ah, interesting.
argument.
So that was a reflection of where your energy was. Oh, good
Yeah,
call. Yeah.
because I was
Yeah.
like aggravated about the fighting
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's a good lesson. See, that's another
yeah,
one that I could work on too.
people are yelling at me. And this time it wasn't because of my horrible driving, although sometimes it is. This time it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I really like that. That's a very good, tangible example that what you saw was a reflection of your own energy.
Yeah, it really was. But I also think that the 3D energy right now is really, really thick and can grab
Oh,
you. And it's
absolutely.
really a challenge to drive right now, where that's where you really see people's anger and stuff, is when you're driving and you can
Yes.
really see what's going on and not let it get to you.
Right. No, absolutely. It's kind of comical to me now. And it's funny you should mention driving, because I used to get angry at people when I was driving. And now I look at it and I'm like, wow, that's a really interesting choice that you just made. Where are you going? And do you want to
Yeah.
be alive when you get there?
And notice that their horrible driving didn't affect you. Like you saw it
No.
before it happened and you stopped or you pulled over or you were like,
Yeah,
okay,
I know it
good
wasn't
luck.
right, and I know they shouldn't have made that choice or cut me off or pull out or whatever, but it's just like, I'm looking at it going, "Wow, that's spectacular," and instead of being like, but that was a reaction that changed in me. They haven't done anything different.
Right,
My
same.
reaction to it is different, which is much more helpful to my vibration.
It really is. Flipping people off and yelling at them in your car does not make your drive better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
Well, Kerri Mouch is in Baton Rouge, and if you live in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, you should definitely go live to one of her amazing sound baths. But you also have them online. So
I
tell everyone
do.
about your monthly angelic healing sound baths.
I do. So every month, usually on a Thursday night, if you're local, I do a sound bath live at my office downtown at One Heart Yoga. And I play the crystal singing bowls and I sing angelic light language with that. It's all channeled. And every month, a different energy, a light being, usually an angel, but sometimes ascended masters or other beings come forward, just depending on the energy that month. I never know who's coming next until they tell me. But about a little over a year ago, I started recording them. So there's probably 12 or 13 sound baths on my website that you can just go to that link right here and just kind of scroll through. If there's one that resonates with you, that appeals to you, you like that being from that month, and they're only $25. So it's a good bang for your buck. You get a whole hour's sound bath healing. So I tell people, if you don't have a big budget and but you want to do something, that's a good way to do it. But I also do the little mini sound healings on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram every week that are free, just a couple 5 minutes. So those are also good little ways for a little pick me up.
Love it. And you can come have a session with Kerri as well. She's at sensoryhealingforthesoul.com.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Thanks for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you so
This
much.
was wonderful. I love all the things we talked about. And I love talking with you because you totally get it. You get what it's like to be on the 5D timeline and to really be really committed to sticking to love. And it's so important. That's really the answer. It's 111 I'm looking at.
I love it.
Yeah. It's about love.
Yeah.
Every single thing, even love towards disgusting creatures who do terrible things.
But they're not disgusting, Rachel.
That's right. They're not. I was actually thinking of an insect for a second there. But
well, look, I've learned that lesson too. There are some insects that I really don't want to know well, but I had to get past it because they're all divine little creatures. And
I know.
Yeah, you could apply it to things small and large.
Yes. All things part of the one. We're all part of the light that is. And this is such a tiny, tiny, tiny life. So
it really is.
Everybody go home and do some shadow work. Thanks everyone for coming. It's been a real pleasure. Kerri, thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. My pleasure, Rachel.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me for today's episode. If you are a healer or spiritual entrepreneur, present or future, I'd like to invite you to my Facebook group, 5D Daily, Spiritual Healers in Higher Dimensions, where I'll be live for more discussion and questions on Thursdays. I'll put the link in the show notes. I'm Rachel Chamness at Sound Waves Heal.